This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN.
Who are you?
Who I am doesn't matter. I'm here to steal your internet data.
Oh no!
Wait, out of everything in this house, you just want to take my internet data?
Don't question my antics. Just go back to being afraid.
Oh no! If only there was a way to keep my internet data protected from people like this.
Don't worry, my lovely viewer. There is.
Okay, how many people are in my house?
Don't worry about that. Do you want my help or not?
Well, yeah, but
Then you need
Surfshark VPN.
Oh wow, Surfshark VPN. What's that?
I'm glad you asked. Let's say you want to browse a website that looks like it doesn't have the safest of networks. Surfshark VPN is a service that allows you to hide your IP address and other important internet data that you have from potential hackers on said website. Here, take these.
Wow, these are some cool glasses.
Oh no! The power! It's too strong!
Cool, that solves one issue, but now I have another.
What might that be?
I have this super awesome show that I want to watch, but the problem is, it's only exclusive to Japan. What am I supposed to do?
Don't worry, my friend. With Surfshark VPN, not only can you protect your data by encrypting your IP, you can also change your IP to any region of the world and be able to watch all your favorite shows in their pure, unlocalized glory.
Oh my god, Surfshark is like awesome!
It sure is.
But there's just one more problem.
What's wrong?
I don't think I have enough money to afford Surfshark at this time.
Well, guess what? I have just the solution you're looking for. If you use my special promo code, SHOUTS,
Link in the description.
you'll get an 83% off, plus an additional 3 months absolutely free, no strings attached. Again, that's code SHOUTS with a Z, and it will be the very first link in the description of this video.
Well, I'm definitely sold now. Thanks, Surfshark VPN, and thank you, Mr. Master Guy.
You're very welcome, my wholesome viewer. Now, back to our video. I was originally gonna talk about the maps over the span of the entire series, but since Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Switch has the most maps out of any previous Smash title, I guess we'll just have to look at the maps from this Smash in particular and see how atrocious each map truly is. From most tolerable to the downright hair-yanking, rage-inducing excuses for a stage, I'll review the maps from each game franchise individually in order to give you all the top 10 worst maps of all time at the end of this video. Let's do this. Might as well start off with the actual default Super Smash Bros. Ultimate maps themselves. Duh! The first one is simply titled Battlefield. As you can see, it's basically every map if you set it to the Battlefield option, but that's not what we want. We want these absolutely abysmal maps to be shown in their true form. The ones that really screw up your inputs and just throw your whole battle off. So far, everything looks good. So, let's see what the second Smash Ultimate map has for us, which is called Big Battlefield. Well, what the f- The third and final Smash Bros. Ultimate default map is titled Final Destination. I mean, the background is pretty litty, but like, I don't see a meteor speeding at 10,000 miles per hour into my face hole, so I guess this one's just alright. Now that the default maps are out of the way, we can finally dive into the actual video game franchise meatloaf in order to find the top 10 absolute worst maps that reside inside of this game, so that you know never to touch them if you still want to retain your sanity and your friendships. We'll dive into this with the series that everyone and their pet turtle knows, Mario. I'm starting off with this series specifically because there are so many fucking maps for this damn franchise. I counted about 22 in total, so sit tight and we'll get through this together. As I said at the beginning, I'll be starting with the most tolerable to the least tolerable stages from each series. So, the very first map that I despise the least from the Mario series is the Super Happy Tree map.
But Hunter! Yoshi has his own series!
Yeah, but he started off in Mario, so you might think that this is just another map set in Battlefield mode, but only to the untrained eye. You see, if you slant your eyes slightly, you may just find that you're completely right. There is absolutely no difference between this and a normal Battlefield stage. Literally, nothing happens besides this creepy-ass heart staring into your soul, and just random shit flying in the background. Again, barely anything affects your fight in the slightest, which is why this stage is my most tolerable Mario map. map. The next stage we have is the Mario Galaxy map. My only complaint with this is the curve at each end of the stage, but other than that, nothing else tries to kill you other than your opponent, so you're good. The third map we have for the Mario series is Peach's Castle. Just like the previous map, nothing's really flying at you and throwing your game off, but the design for this map feels a little awkward to me, and I'm not sure if it was the characters we were playing as or the map itself, but the camera angles were kinda weird to me as well. Also, this platform down here moves very slowly though, so unless you have the reaction time of a sloth, you might be good with this one. Next is Yoshi's Island. The layout is of course modeled after Yoshi's Island, with the platform slanting up and down in the middle of it. The battles here thankfully don't get interrupted by some outside force, but there are these shy guys that spawn in every now and then just to stare at you, nothing else. The fifth map we have for the Mario series is Yoshi's Story. It's literally just a battlefield styled map again, but to be 100% honest, it just looks ugly. It's creative, but not something I would choose to stare at for a long period of time. Next up is Peach's Castle. What's the difference between this and Peach's Castle without the princess? Well, for one, you're on the roof of the castle instead of just a remake of the interior. And what the hell is that? Our seventh entry is the Mushroom Kingdom. Honestly, the camera doesn't bother me that much on this one, but what does bother me is this shit right here. I'm trying to run from my opponent, not give them an advantage. And if you were hoping that something off-screen gets thrown at you at Mach speed, I'm sorry to disappoint, but neither that or anything else affects your battle here. Just don't touch these things and you'll be good. Next, we got Yoshi's Island from Melee. I personally hate this map, but after sitting down and really looking over my gameplay, I realized that it doesn't deserve to be far on the trash list because it's actually a fine map. The only thing that's really bad about it are these spinning platforms and this weird slant thing that's going on with this pipe and hill thing. Up next is the Mario Bros arcade map. The only things that really disrupt your battle here are the Crab and Koopa enemies that come from the pipes located on each corner of the stage, and this POW block, which, you guessed it, makes things go POW! A little annoying at times, but honestly, they don't really affect the fight that much unless you make them affect the fight yourself. But to be honest, it's nothing compared to what we'll be seeing later on. The 10th stage for the Mario franchise is Mushroom Kingdom U. You might think everything's all fine and dandy, but once this little shit appears, it's a completely different map before your very eyes. Okay, it's not that different, but it does rise up and down and make the battle a little more challenging now that there is less battleground and more bottomless pits for you to fall in. The next map is Golden Plains. Our 12th map is Luigi's Mansion. This one is so high up because this mansion house thing can honestly hinder your fight at certain times. Even though you're able to break the house down, it does regenerate back to its original form, so it's basically pointless. The camera on this one isn't all over the place, so that's good, I guess. Next is Super Mario Maker. The only thing that makes this map annoying are the constant scene changes that can honestly get distracting at times. Other than that, nothing's really killing you besides yourselves. Next stage is New Donk City Hall. We're starting to get into the territory of maps with moving backgrounds and or platforms, which I'm not a big fan of in the slightest. I believe it completely throws off your battles and just adds an extra level of annoyance that's just really unnecessary. But don't get me wrong, at times the scenery can be pleasant to look at, but when it's not, the match just ends up becoming a mess. Luckily, this one isn't too bad, since the only other place you're going is up and then back down again, with nothing really affecting the fight. But again, the reason this is high up is because I honestly loathe these moving maps. The 15th map we have for Mario is Mushroom Kingdom 2. The difference between this and the first Mushroom Kingdom map is that the first one didn't piss me off! Seriously, look at this bull honky! What were they thinking? And this Birdo Beach shoots eggs at you, so that's always fun. Next is Delfino Plaza. This one is definitely the last of the tolerable moving Mario maps, because from here on, it just becomes a dumpster fire. This stage sets you down at 4 different locations of the map, which honestly aren't that bad, but as you can see here, our match ended before we got to all 4 areas. But you should already have an idea of how this works. The camera on this can be a little iffy at times, but I think they did that on purpose just to show off the map itself. So that's really all I have to say for this one. Mario Circuit is our 17th entry. This map is another moving one where they take you to different locations of the map. Unfortunately, like the last moving map, we couldn't show off every area due to the lack of time, but as you can see, the map can affect your fight at specific times, but it's really not that difficult to avoid the dangers of this one. The camera's pretty stable here for the most part, which I really appreciate. I would absolutely hate a coked out cameraman on the stage like this. So yeah, on to the next one. At number 18, we got Figure 8 Circuit. From the moment this match started, I knew I wasn't gonna like it. And I was right. I seriously hate this map. Nothing about it is appealing unless you're a Mario Kart fan. And if you're not, it's just another pointlessly annoying stage. These racers come from out of nowhere at random times, which is not healthy for my battle. Also, this happened in our recording for this map. I like to think that Nintendo knew I was making this video and commanded that shy guy to drive into us, because I've never seen an NPC do that in my entirety of playing this game. Up next is Paper Mario. How come this is so high up on the poop list? Well, for one, this shit happens. Then, you get put on a ship that just goes all over the place and makes the battle pretty hard. The cameraman is on some sort of substance, as well as this map. You are then taken to a mechanical Bowser head, which opens and closes his mouth, and then... I'm not sure because our match finished before we were able to do a full cycle. Mushroomy Kingdom is our 20th stage. These types of moving maps are the worst types of moving maps. Side-scrolling. Thank God there aren't that many in this game. Why you would even put something like this in a fighting game is beyond any reasoning I could give. But anyways, this map looks and moves like a constipated turtle. Fighting here is the most annoying task ever. I really don't need to go into that much depth of how bad this map is, because look at it! It's the most disgusting thing ever! I can't stand it. We gotta move on. The next disgusting map is 3D Land. Another putrid side-scrolling bull-dookie of a map. Well, it is side-scrolling until you get to this ugly part of the stage with 4 platforms in a diamond formation that takes you through some sort of valley thing. And guess what's waiting for you on the other side? More side-scrolling! Look, I have no problem with side-scrolling as a genre, but keep it as just that! A genre separate from my fighting games! Anyways, once the side-scrolling's done, you're taken to 3 platforms that rotate around each other, and then those platforms take you to a pipe which takes you to the very beginning, so you can start your journey all over again. Yeah, no thanks. The 22nd and final absolutely abysmal map we have for the Mario franchise is Rainbow Cruise. Where to begin? The camera makes the characters look like they're ants. I can barely see them! There's more side-scrolling, because, you know, we all ask for more of that. The platforms are set up in a way that makes it a headache to fight your opponent, and that rainbow is pissing me off. Just a terrible map. Never touch it. Thank you. Now that we got the Mario maps out of the way, it's time to talk about the franchise with the second most maps in Smash Bros, which is The Legend of Zelda. Don't worry, there's only 8 this time. The first map we have here is Hyrule Castle. Obviously, this is the most tolerable map. Nothing's happening! I mean, you got this thing that kind of blocks your view, but you can always just, you know, stay away from it. And there's a tornado that spawns on different parts of the stage, but it's completely avoidable unless... The next Zelda map is Great Bay. It's honestly not too bad, but the water really can get in the way a lot. Also, we got this turtle here just chilling out and... What the hell is that?! Oh, well, never mind. The third stage for the Zelda franchise is Skyloft. So, this one's a moving stage, but strangely, it doesn't elicit the same reaction out of me as when I see a map like this. Maybe it's because I can actually see my characters this time, somewhat, or maybe it's because the platforms and ground aren't set up like some madman made them. Well, except for this. But whatever it is, I know I enjoy it a whole lot more than this. Next up, we got Great Plateau Tower. I love starting my matches in places where I can barely see my own characters. You know what? Let's just break this down. I'm sure no one was using it anyway. Much better. I can finally see. Oh, wait a minute. Our 5th Zelda map is Bridge of Eldin. Alright, everything looks fine. Oh my god, who is that? And what is he doing? Okay, thanks, you a-hole. Can I have a normal stage just for once? Oh wow, thank you, aliens!
Glorp, glorp, glorp.
Up next is Gerudo Valley. Okay, everything looks good so far, but like, I said that before and a maniac blew up the center of the map. You know what? I think we're good. Who are these guys? No, not again! Pirate ship is the name of our 7th Zelda entry, and who would have known we are on a pirate ship? And like any pirate ship, it comes equipped with a device to sling you off the screen just like a real pirate. The ship then hits these giant rocks, but I guess this ship is just too savage to be taken down by some pathetic earthly substance because it just pushes itself back into the water, and your sea battle adventure can continue from there. And now there's a tiny boat following us with no one in it. I'm not scared. Who's scared? You're scared. And now, our 8th and final worst Legend of Zelda stage is Spirit Train. It's a fitting name because the hatred that I have for this map is on a new spiritual level. Okay, it's fine at the beginning, but that does a complete 180 as time goes on. Like this, for example. Why the hell am I being forced to go to the left? I want to go right! Come on! What happened here? The cut didn't even look like that before. Whatever, we gotta go to the right again. And what the actual shiza. I was just amazed at how bad and lazy this was that I just had to end it. The next video game franchise we'll be looking at is Fire Emblem. Arena Ferox is the first map we got, and to be completely real with you, I don't mind it at all. Yeah, there are platforms that rise up from the ground, but at least they're not annoying or trying to kill me. So, I give this an 8 out of 10 for not pissing me off too bad. The second map for Fire Emblem is Castle Siege. In the beginning, you start off on 2 platforms, which has the actual stage under it. So far, so good, but then you get taken to the inside of the castle where there are 2 statues holding up platforms with 2 banners on the side. After that, you're then taken to hell. Well, I never played the Fire Emblem game, so I don't know if this is actually hell or not, but anyways, you now have to fight on top of a rock platform, which isn't that bad actually. After this, you're taken back to the beginning, and the cycle continues. Our third and final map for Fire Emblem is Colosseum. You and your opponent are starting off on the ground of this Colosseum, but don't worry, that all changes once the ground becomes tired of being a ground and decides to rise up, and then back down, and then back up again, and then back down again, and then back up again. Time for the franchise that'll take us to the midway point, which is...
But Hunter! You put Yoshi in the same franchise as Mario, but say Donkey Kong is his own franchise? What's wrong with you?
Look, you got it all wrong. This is Jumpman, not Mario, so ha! The first DK map we have is Congo Jungle. Most people have an issue with the middle of this stage, but I really don't mind it at all. What I do mind are these moving guys up here. This could be a disadvantage depending on who you're playing as. There's also this barrel that shoots you back up just in case you fall, but to be honest, it's so close to the stage that unless you failed an up B attempt, it might as well just not be there. The next DK map we have is Congo Falls. The stage for this one is much more narrow compared to the first Donkey Kong map we looked at, and it also moves, which I'm not too big on, so it kind of makes sense to put these platforms here. Accidentally falling off would happen a lot more without them, and this rock too, I guess, but who really cares? Also, this barrel's back because it just hated to see us leave. The third map for Donkey Kong is Jungle Japes. The center stage for this one is just as narrow as the last one, but this time it doesn't move when you walk on it, so thank you, Nintendo. There's really nothing else to say about this one except for this. Our fourth and final Donkey Kong map is 75M. What the shite? This map is a complete and utter nightmare to fight in. Everything that shouldn't be a thing in a map for a fighting game is just there in your face. Enemies everywhere, platforms stacked unevenly, and the only flat place where it looks like you can hold a decent battle just gets bombarded with these spring pieces of dookie. 0 out of 1,000, I do not recommend this one at all. Our next video game franchise is Pokemon. The most tolerable garbage map for this one is Prism Tower. This one is a moving map, but trust me, it's much more tame compared to the rest of the Pokemon maps. Here, it just takes you to the top of the tower, then zoomed out so you can get a good view of the city, then back to the front of the tower. Short trip, but at least there were barely any interruptions during the battle. Next up is Pokemon Stadium. As usual, everything's all good until it's not, and by that, I mean the ground changes to the setting of the same elements as the Pokemon, so like fire and grass for example. It's a little annoying, but it's not too bad. Our third map is Pokemon Stadium 2. There is absolutely no difference between this and the first Pokemon Stadium. I just didn't want to waste this perfectly good footage that we captured. The next map is called Unova Pokemon League. Here, the Pokemon actually show up, and when they do, they close off each end of the stage for us. I know, how nice of them. But oh my god, they're trying to kill us! Ah! Spare Pillar is the name of our 5th Pokemon map. There are 3 Pokemon that spawn on this map, and they're all dummy stupid. One tilts the map, another yeets boomerangs at you, and the last one turns things upside down. There are also these 2 platforms that slowly go up and down. And did I mention there's a gaping hole under the actual stage? No? Oh. Our next stage is called Kalos Pokemon League. The Pokemon in this one can be a real bunch of a-holes. For example, these swords, this water, this fire, this more fire, and this dragon that just roars and nothing else. Our 7th and final excuse for a map is called Saffron City. Look at how disgusting this center stage looks. There is no way this counts as a fair fight. On the right side of the map, you can see a building with the world's smallest helipad on it. And on the left side, there are 2 platforms that go up and down at a stupid and random speed, along with another building in the middle of them without a helipad on it. Oh, and did I mention that this big square thing on the right of the center stage is also a big middle finger in Pokemon form? I did forget. I'm sorry. The awful design of this map was so mesmerizing that I forgot to mention it. So yeah, you can clearly see for yourself why this is the worst Pokemon map in my opinion. Now, for our next series, Metroid. The first map for this franchise is called Frigate Opheron. This horseshoe crab in the back turns the map upside down and also adds or takes away platforms. It's annoying, but at least it doesn't try to murder you. The next stage is called Brinstar. We start off, hold up, is that a giant ball sack? I'm kidding, I don't know what that is, and I'm not trying to find out. Anyways, the map for this one looks like if the Battlefield version of this map was on meth. Nothing really affects your fight that much until the map sinks you in some yellowish toxic fluids that I assume came from that creature behind us. Our 3rd and final map for Metroid is called Norfair. I really don't like platforms that are set up like this, but honestly, that's nothing when you realize that the map is trying to kill you. And it's not like every now and then, it happens almost every second. I seriously cannot catch a break. It seems like the map was killing us more than we were doing to ourselves.
Oh, but they give you a safety platform for an attack that you can't dodge.
That's all good and stuff, but when you're literally fighting over your opponent to get there, it makes it pretty much worthless if you don't reach it in time. And let's be honest, who the hell's gonna reach it in time if the battle's that intense? No one. On to the next series. Our next franchise is Animal Crossing. There are only 3 maps for this series, but to be 100% real with you, I might just have to skip over them because I honestly have no issues with them in the slightest. They all have one set stage except for this one, but even that's not an issue. The platforms for each map are not set up in an annoying way. In fact, they're set up so good that I barely noticed them. My only complaint about the island level is how far back the camera is. These trees can kind of get in the way sometimes, and this shark that shows up every now and then. But other than that, they're all solid maps. The next franchise is FZero, and our first map is called Mute City SNES. Here we start off on 2 platforms, accompanied with 2 cars racing each other, that you can also stand on. That's really about it, just don't fall. Our second map is called Port Town Aerial Dive. The stage can be seen here speeding through the racetrack and stopping at 3 different locations, which almost always has cars ready to run you over. Jumping off the platforms onto the track will do damage to you. The map can be a pain at times, but it's not the worst. The 3rd and final F-Zero map is called Big Blue, and it's a big blue pile of dookie. For one, I can barely see my characters. The one thing there to support you are the cars, which split up as the stage goes on, and these platforms that appear for a while but never actually come close to each other. And obviously, if you hit the road, you'll take damage or even become alivened. The next series we have is Star Fox. There are only 3 maps for this one, just like the franchises we just went over, so I'm just gonna get Corneria and Venom out of the way because they're basically the same map. In Corneria, you're fighting on a space shuttle that constantly moves to the left, and in Venom, you're on a space shuttle that constantly moves towards the camera in a front view, but with a more narrow stage and a center that's a little annoying, but nothing's really out to ruin your battle, so you don't gotta worry about that. Different angles, but ultimately the same idea. The 3rd and final map for the Star Fox series is called Lilac Cruise. This stage is completely fine. Nothing happens besides a changing background, but nothing that interferes with the foreground, thankfully. Our next series is Mother, and the first map for this one is called On It. The only thing that can be said about this map is that it's weird. As in, it's not a good or bad map, it's just a map. The only real danger it presents are the cars that drive past every so often, but even still, you can easily avoid them. Up next is Magic Hand. Now, I don't know too much about Earthbound, but I do know that there is nothing nothing magical about this stage at all. The platforms are all pink clouds, including the center stage, but don't worry because they're not easy to fall through, or so I think. There's also this buff-ass bird dude who assists whichever player touches him first. It's pretty hilarious at first seeing him jump around and help you out, but for the other player, it quickly becomes very annoying. I just might have to leave him to keep being whatever the hell he is. The name of our third map from the Mother series is named Fourside. There is absolutely no way you expect me to fight here? But look at the window. What? Our fourth and final Mother map is called New Pork City. Okay, now Nintendo straight up lost their minds. There is no point for a fighting game to have a map this oversized. The platforms over here are stupid. This swinging boat, stupid. This random platform, stupid. Whatever this is, stupid. This part over here, well, that's actually fun. Kirby is a fun series. Let's see what those maps provide for us. First is Dreamland. Either I'm dreaming, or this map is just Battlefield mode. Ow! Nope, I'm awake. And this tree blows on you a little bit. Thanks. The next map is Dreamland Game Boy. Everything's good as of now, but guess what? We all can't have nice things because the map immediately turns into my favorite thing since breathing oxygen, side-scrolling. But thankfully, it's only for a short while. Once it stops, it takes you to a boxing ring and this room with 3 platforms and a stage at the bottom. Our third Kirby map is called Fountain of Dreams. More like Fountain of I can't see what the hell is going on. Seriously, the stage is really hard on the eyes, but once you get adjusted to the map, you realize that it's just Battlefield mode. Halberd is the next Kirby map, and right away we get launched into the sky while circling around Meta Knight's ship. Eventually, we land on the front of the ship itself, and judging by the cannon and lasers, I don't think we're really welcome here, so let's leave. The fifth and final Kirby map is called the Great Cave Offensive. I am greatly offended that they would even have the decency to call this a map. This is clearly a prank by Nintendo themselves. They know fully well how absurd this stage is, but yet they put it in the game anyway. I'm just amazed. You have to play it for yourself to realize how rage-inducing it actually is. Sonic the Hedgehog is our next franchise, and the first map is called Windy Hill Zone. The center stage for this map is the ugliest thing next to this. The 3 little platforms above it doesn't help either, and neither does this pointless windmill on the right-hand side. At least Eggman isn't sending robots after me or shooting lasers, so I guess I can give it that. Our second and final Sonic map is called Green Hill Zone. You gotta be kidding with this. How do you go from kinda decent to straight unbearable in the span of 2 maps? Anyway, if you hit any part of the middle dip in a certain way, it causes it to break and fall down, pretty much making things more difficult than it already is. The next series we have is Wario, and the first map is called Gamer. I really hate this map, and the reason is because of this demon spawn. Every time she appears, you have to hide behind these conveniently placed books and blocks because if you don't, this happens. Our second and final Wario map is called WarioWare Inc. The stage for this one is pretty standard, but what makes this map dummy stupid are the mini games that they force you to do. I thought this was a fighting game, not Mario Party. The franchise we have next is Pikmin, and the first map is called Garden of Hope. So the battle begins, and right away, random stuff begins to happen. I'm trying to fight. Stop building whatever the hell that is. We gotta move over here. It's too weird over there. And what in the name of Sakura is that? Our next Pikmin map is called Distant Planet. If you cannot immediately spot everything that is wrong with this stage, then I have failed my job. There's this thing that spawns just to chomp your booty, and rainwater that can slide you down this little slope on the left. The center stage, if you could even call it that, is a complete joke, as well as these leaf platforms that move whenever you land on them. This map is just too ugly to look at, so I'm gonna stop doing that now. The third and final Pikmin map is named Hannenbow, whatever. Nope. The next franchise we'll talk about is Kid Icarus. The first map for this series is titled Skyworld. Nothing happens in this stage besides this little platform that comes in from the bottom left every now and then. But nothing is actually messing up your fight at all. You're able to break the platforms that you stand on, which can make it much more hazardous, but it's fine because happens, they almost immediately grow back. The second map is called Reset Bomb Forest. The stage layout is a little annoying, but manageable. And after a meteor crashes, the map then transforms into an apocalyptic hell for only a little, but then changes back to normal, and I'm pretty sure the cycle continues. The third and final Kid Icarus map is named Palutena's Temple. I don't know what Nintendo's idea of a temple is, but it definitely does not look like the behemoth that is this map. I thought the Kirby map was big, but this is just too insane. No one even battles on every single part of this stage in one match, so this gargantuan size is very unnecessary. That's really about it. Nothing comes out of nowhere to kill you, and the traps that are there shouldn't really be too much of an issue. You can clearly see and be cautious of them. But yeah, other than its ridiculous size, it's alright, but this is definitely not one I'd play on purpose. Now, the rest of the maps I grouped together as the one-off maps. These are the ones that only have one map per franchise. There are about 20 maps left, so let's get through this, and we can finally get to our top 10 list of the worst Super Smash Ultimate maps. Our very first one-off map belongs to the Ice Climber franchise, and the name of the stage is Summit. With a name like this, and a map that also looks like this, what could possibly go wrong? Are we dead? The next one-off stage belongs to Metal Gear, and the map is called Shadow Moses Island. The setup for this map is pretty good, with the sides being cut off, so accidentally falling off shouldn't be an issue. Also, big robot time! It doesn't do anything. Next, the third one-off stage belongs to Balloon Fight, and the name of the map is Balloon Fight. Right away, the layout for this one got me upset. The middle is just all water, and if you touch it, this fish comes up to drag you right in. These platforms are completely uneven, and it just makes fighting here a huge headache. Next one-off belongs to Nintendogs, and the map is called Living Room. You start off on the floor of this living room with nothing happening until these blocks fall from the very top, and of course, once they hit you, you'll take damage from it. Eventually, they'll unspawn and the cycle will continue until someone dies. Our fifth one-off map belongs to Find Me, and the name of the map is Find Me. You can see my little character is locked up in a cage wearing a wig and a crown. Okay, then that's pretty strange, but then later on, this blue demon spawn appears to make sure my character stays inside the cage. But don't worry, we actually do manage to get him out, just not in the way I was expecting to. Anyways, other than that happening, this stage really doesn't have that much for us, honestly. Our next one-off map belongs to Tomodachi Life, with the map titled Tomodachi Life. You can either start this stage outside or inside of the building, which has 3 floors and 6 rooms. Over here, you can see my character again, doing whatever that is, and also my little brother Deadshot, who's right above me. Other than the unnecessary size, I don't have much of an issue with this one. Up next for one-off maps belong to PictoChat, with the map name PictoChat 2. The center stage is perfect. It's completely flat, no annoyingly placed platforms, and best of all, no projectiles. But of course, that all gets ruined once the drawings start to appear. We have this electric eye contact thing, these dolphins, this road, this writing segment using ink and quill, and a freaking tornado. All very unnecessary, but cool to see the first time around. The 8th one-off map belongs to Game & Watch, and the map is called Flat Zone X. It has that Game Boy aesthetic, but in fact is on the Game & Watch console itself. In this one, you're taken to different locations, such as the outside of a burning building, a kitchen, what appears to be a backyard of some kind, this gas station, a jail cell looking place where these guys are able to play ping pong with you, much like almost every NPC you come in contact with on this stage. The next one-off map belongs to Wii Fit, and the stage is titled Wii Fit Studio. In this stage, we see— Whoa, what are you doing? I'm gonna get demonetized because of this. We gotta go. Let's make our way to the 10th one-off map, which belongs to Punch-Out, and the stage is called Boxing Ring. Yup, we truly are inside of a boxing ring. Other than being able to break and make the lights fall down, nothing interesting actually happens in this map. Next one-off map belongs to Xenoblade, and the map name for this one is called Gower Plain. This map is pretty big, and there's a giant hole in the middle which makes it even worse. The platforms on the bottom of each side are just horrendous. There's a spring here as well to send you back up, but why would you want to when there's a giant robot up there just waiting to kill you? Let's take him out. Yes, we got him! The next one-off map belongs to Duck Hunt, Hunt, and the stage is named Duck Hunt. Wow, this map is just like the original game. It's complete dog poop. Our 13th one-off map belongs to Wrecking Crew, and the name of the map is Wrecking Crew. In this stage, you battle inside of a building which appears to be under construction, and well, all this work was for nothing because we just started to destroy floor after floor. But to be 100% honest, I don't think there's an end to this. They just keep coming down without stopping. Looks like I gotta end it the old-fashioned way. Pilot Wing is our next one-off franchise, and the map is called Pilot Wings. We start on a plane with 2 wing things that we can fight on, but then a few moments later, a second plane comes in. This one only has 1 wing platform, and I'm bored. The 15th one-off map belongs to Wii Sports Resort, and the stage is titled Woohoo Island. In this one, you're taken to a fighting stage, rocks in the ocean, the top of a volcano, a fountain, a bridge, a boat, a beach, and oh my god, just end it! Next one-off stage belongs to Mega Man, and the map is called Wily Castle. So far, we have a fair fight with no interruptions, but like I said, we only get so far because this yellow Baymax wannabe just had to ruin it. This piss-colored mutant takes all the fun out of fighting here because you have to worry about dodging him and your opponent's attacks as well. Yes, he does go away, but just as fast as he goes, he comes back equally as fast. Just a complete giant yellow ass. The next one-off map belongs to Pac-Land, and the map is named Pac-Land. They just couldn't help themselves. They just had to put one more side-scrolling map. It's not even a good one. At least the other ones were kind of decent to look at, even though they pissed me off. This just looks like my 3-year-old cousin designed it in MS Paint. The platforming is indescribable. They really expect you to have a fair fight in this stage, but I'm more worried about the terrible design of the map killing me than the actual person that I'm fighting. The 18th one-off map belongs to Street Fighter 2, and the map is titled Suzaku Castle. The gap between the stage and this platform over here is annoying, but besides that, this map is fine. Our next one-off map belongs to Final Fantasy, and the stage is called Midgar. Come on, another Battlefield-styled map? Give me something else at least! What the living hell is that? Wait, what is it doing? Okay, I think it's all over now. Alright, what? No, not again! That has to be the end of it, right? Never mind. Whoa, catch the wave, my dudes! The 20th one-off map belongs to Bayonetta, and the map is called Umbra Clock Tower. I have no idea what's going on in the background here, but what I do know is that this clock tower stage piece does not enrage me in the slightest bit. Next up for one-off stages is Splatoon, and the map is titled Moray Towers. You guys know how much I love Splatoon, but sadly, I can't say the same for this map. Battling here is extremely difficult, and that could be due to trying to keep up with your opponent, or just the way that the ramps are set up. Whatever the case, it's definitely not worth playing on. And now for our 22nd and very last one-off map, which is from the Castlevania series, and the map is titled Dracula's Castle. I personally love the design on this one, but these 2 platforms over here can be kind of tough to deal with because of the placement, but once you look past that, this is a really good map. Also, the head of this statue floats off and turns into a Medusa-looking thing. It doesn't attack you or anything, but it sure is spooky. So, we finally went over and summarized every single map in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, it's time for my top 10 list of worst maps from this game. Here we go. Number 10, Big Blue. The lack of stage and zoomed out camera makes this a challenge to play on, no matter which character you choose. Number 9, Gower Plain. This oversized map mixed with terrible platforms and this thing all blend together to create the perfect bad map. Number 8, Green Hill Zone. Why the hell is there a dip in the middle and not somewhere off to the side of the map? I think doing that would have made this experience much more enjoyable. Number 7, The Great Cave Offense. Too oversized and the traps are very hard to avoid in certain areas. Number 6, Balloon Fight. Do I really have to die by touching the water only once when it's literally 60% of this stupid and ugly stage? Number 5, Wily Castle. The yellow mutant that resides in this map is the bane of my existence. You can't even hold a good fight for 2 seconds without him showing up and just ruining it. Number 4, Rainbow Cruise. Here's a tip for whenever you're making a map for a fighting game. Don't have unnecessary side-scrolling mixed with an nauseating aesthetic. Number 3, Pac-Land. What the hell did I just say? Number 2, Hannenbow, whatever the If there is any map that'll ruin your friendships, it is definitely this one. I want you to really watch this footage and tell me that a sane, rational thinking person thought that this abomination could even be called a stage. This is the purest test of human patience. You know that desert bus game that goes on for literally 8 hours with no breaks? That doesn't even hold a candle to how much patience you truly need to sit through a single match on this stage. Number 1, Norfair. Norfair? More like not fair! I already explained how this stage is the most dookie out of them all, but it ultimately comes down to this map being very unforgiving. It barely allows you to catch a break, and even if you do, the platforms are stacked so dumb that you'll be wishing that the lava was the one killing you instead of your opponent. So yeah, that was why every single map in this game is complete garbage. I hope you all enjoyed or at least took something away from this, because someone had to mention how insane these stages are. So, thank you for watch. I'll see you later. Bye.